What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 78 of Snakes and the Fat Man. Alright, what do we got going on with the old Herbs Exotic Reptile and Pet Show? I'll tell you what we fucking got going on, alright? On June 4th and 5th, they're going to be in Lafayette, Louisiana. And the big one, June 11th and June 12th, they're going to be in Conroe, Texas. They're going to be in Longview, Texas on June 25th and 26th. They're going to be back up in Louisiana, July 23rd and 24th. Going to be in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, July 30th and 31st. Back down to Corpus Christi, Texas, August 13th and 14th. They're going to have a home show at Bryan College Station on August 20th and 21st. Then they're going to be in Austin on August 27th and 28th. You know what? I think we're going to do a little bit more here. They're going to be back in Conroe, September 10th and 11th. They're going to be in New Orleans, September 17th and 18th. Waco. Fucking, that's where that fucking mass shooting happened fucking like 30 years ago. October 15th and 16th. Gonna be back in Lafayette, Louisiana on November 5th and 6th. Pearland, Texas. That must be a new place. I know I probably said that. Pearland. Whatever the fuck. Fucking, you know that douche James Lewis is gonna fucking make fun of me for the way I fucking said it. They're gonna be there November 12th and 13th and back in Austin on December 3rd and 4th. Listen, Sean and Lori got a lot of shit going on, okay? So fucking take the time to fucking email them, tell them what's up, tell them they're doing a great fucking job, and go to herpshow.net with any other dumb questions that you guys may have. That's it for this month. Look at it. Look at it! That right there is the best coconut substrate on the fucking planet. Look at this right here. This is also the best coconut substrate on the fucking planet, but it's in a bag. Now this right here is the best coconut chip on the fucking planet. However, it's in a bigger bag. Brick, small bag, bigger bag, whatever. Reptile Chip is hands down the best substrate for your reptiles. It's the only substrate I actually use here at the Fat Cave. Why? Because it's the best coconut substrate on the fucking planet and I've been using it for years. And JT Tomlinson, one of my very best good friends, is the president of the company. Want to know something else that JT started? The Reptilution Apparel Company that gives 100% of the profits it receives back to the reptile community. There's always people and organizations in this hobby in need of some kind of help, and Reptilution is being proactive in giving to USARC, Herbs Family Fund, anybody in the community that experienced some kind of tragedy. JT, Reptile Chip, and Reptilution is there for them. You see anybody else being proactive like this? Let me answer that for you. No, you don't. Head on over to reptilechip.com and pick up a bag, a block, a brick, a box even. They're doing boxes. Boxes of Reptile Chip now. Pick up a Reptile shirt if you're feeling sexy. A lot of fun stuff. They got it all there. Redline Science, tools, shit scrapers. They got everything. It's a one-stop shop, man. You can buy your Reptile shit and clothes. Same place. Again, go buy a brick, a bag, box, a shirt, whatever. Just get on it. Reptachip.com. So here I am, 2 weeks out of the hospital, and I'm getting better every day. But I just thought to myself, you know, if you're gonna piss some people off, now would probably be the time to do it. You know, fall back on that old fucking sympathy excuse. Man, I was in the hospital, I wasn't thinking, you know, that kind of thing. So every week, inevitably, I get some email or some idiot comes up to me and just says, man, you really gotta get the old school people on, man. They're not gonna be around forever, man. They need to tell their stories. You gotta get them on, man. Well, here's the fucking truth. They don't wanna come on. Now, not all of them. I've had some of the old school guys on this show, like Ralph Davis, Barchak, McCurley, who else? I made a list. Ozzy, Justin. I haven't had Crutchfield on yet, but I've seen him on a bunch of podcasts. So it's nice to see, you know, that some of the older school guys are embracing some new stuff, even though podcasts are generally pretty old right now. It's kind of not, it's not like a new media kind of thing. But I've reached out to other old school guys like the Barkers, the Sutherlands, Casey Lassick, fucking Limey. None of them want to come on. I had a complex about it and thought it was just me, but then I found out they don't go on anybody. And not to be a dick, but I'm not gonna fucking chase them. All right? You want to come on the fucking show, you come on the show. You don't want to come on, you don't fucking come on. I'm not gonna spend years fucking chasing you, trying to convince you to come on my fucking show. I'm not saying that Tracy Barker would get an uptick in popularity by coming on this dumb dick and fart joke show. But go on some show. There's MJ, there's Cusco, there's In Blue, there's the Holdback Rack. There's so many shows that people could go on if I'm not their cup of tea. Look, all of these old school people, well, most of these fucking old school people are awesome people who have this tremendous history about them, and they're great fucking storytellers. But here's the reality of it. If you went up to 10 random people at a Reptile Expo, 7 of them are not going to know who these people are. And it's getting less every year. These young people getting into the hobby today have the fucking attention span of a carpenter ant. So what I'm asking here is really twofold. Old school people, do a fucking podcast. And to all you people asking me to get old school people on, shut the fuck up. Stop asking. I tried and I'm done. Back to the normal shake, bitches. Huh. What the fuck is this? Well, one line of instructions from layman for the Morph Market ad. Please watch the video to get the idea, then share a few thoughts about it. What the fuck, layman? So now I gotta come up with my own fucking Morph Market ad every fucking 2 weeks? Get the fuck out of here, man. I think that's pushing the line a little bit, man. I thought we were friends. You're just putting more work on me. You know, fucking, I'm 2 weeks out of the hospital and you're doing this shit to me. What the fuck, man? So he wants me to push these offspring groups available on Morph Market now. And I watched a video, and I'm gonna put the video link right over here because it's a fucking 5 or 6 minute video, man. I don't have time to ingest all of that and then fucking work on an actual commercial. I fucking do this shit like fucking a day or two before it's due. So go to that link down here, okay? But the cool thing about offspring groups is that it's really for personal organization. It's just the shit, man. You could be like Ralph Davis. Speaking of old school people, when he used to go on his website and he used to document every fucking clutch that he had. So you knew the parents, you knew the amount of eggs, you knew the amount of offspring that they had. You knew all the morphs of the offspring once that snake was hatched. So, doing something for just personal organization, there's something to be said for that. The other thing it does is it gives buyers more information so they could stop with the cunty questions like, who are the parents? What do the parents look like? How do I know yellow bellies? And all these dumb fucking questions that you waste hours of time on, and then these cunts don't fucking end up buying anyway. You could eliminate that. That's not true. You're not going to eliminate it, but you're going to get less of it because you're going to have all of this stuff available for them to look at before they even contact you. Also, once you set up an offspring page, you could actually convert those offspring to sale items when they're ready to be sold. So that's kind of cool because it'll save you some time with the whole setting up new ads and that kind of bullshit. And finally, you could set up an offspring group the second you find out that the fucking animal is gravid, and you could document it throughout the process of gravidness, pregnancy, whatever the fuck they call it. So listen, overall, go to this fucking link. It's a good fucking thing. It's John innovating again. And, let's not have this happen again, John, okay? Write me out the commercial. It's fucking bullshit. I'm out of the hospital 2 weeks. I'm barely walking. I barely got to this fucking table, man. All right? Help a brother out. I'm just a squirrel trying to get a nut. Go join Morph Market now at morphmarket.com. Look at this. Another hot chick on 15 Minutes of Lame. Proud to say we've probably interviewed more women than anybody else. I'm sorry, we've interviewed more hot women than anyone else. And look, we're on a streak. No uglies, okay? Fucking, we're doing pretty good. Check it out. Here's Cait from Cigar City Exotics.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Snakes in the Batman proudly brings to you its new breeder segment, 15 Minutes of Lame!
Hey guys, it's Justin at Canova. So in the past few years, Canova has become the top source for amazing ball pythons. Now Chris tells me, Justin, it's time to give back. So we're sponsoring the 15 Minutes of Lame to support the new and upcoming breeders. So jump in here. Let's hear your ideas. Let's hear your thoughts. Maybe you can turn your 15 minutes of lame into 20 years of lame, just like I did. If you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. So bring it.
15 Minutes of Lame!
All right, everybody. I have Cait here from Cigar City Exotics on 15 Minutes. What's up, Jen?
How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Doing good.
Oh, okay. Well, you know how this works. You're going to get 15 minutes to pimp your shit, and that's going to start right now. And let's talk about the name. Where'd the name come from?
So the name actually came from just the area we're in currently. We're located just outside of Tampa, more so probably about 15 minutes from Ybor City, which is the home of the cigar factories. So I wanted to do a play on kind of our location and the area I've grown up in, which is why I came up with Cigar City Exotics.
Okay, so it's not a dick thing. It's an actual cigar thing.
Yes, there's actually still cigar factories like 20 minutes from my house. So, yeah.
Okay. Is Florida where it all started? Where the cigars all started?
Yes. There's still a lot of the Cuban cigar stores that you can actually go get like hand rolled Cuban cigars, right in Ybor. So yeah.
I don't know. I think you're bullshitting me.
Well, you have to come visit, and then you can go to the cigar place.
I would, but it's too
They
fucking
they make great drinks too. So
It's too hot down there, though. It's fucking
it is.
hot.
You sweat your asshole off all the time.
All right, I give you like an 8 on the name because the 8's cool. You know, I'm happy that you didn't, you're not JC pythons or JC constrictors or
Gents balls.
or gent balls, which is just the worst shit. Where so why? I mean, you're in Florida, man. So you got Ken Masick, you got Steve Casino, you got Dynasty Reptiles. Why should people buy from Gen Cait except for the fact that you're hot and you look 25, even though you're 51?
51. I like to pride myself in just that individual care of my animals. I want to always keep things small enough to where I am the one handling my animals, from the day-to-day care, handling them. I handle each and every single one of my snakes probably on a daily basis. It's just the level of customer service too. I like to go above and beyond for the people who purchase animals from me. More so, probably a little too much above and beyond sometimes. Like, I will drive to their house and drop off a feeder if they're having an issue feeding their snake.
Get out of here. You're crazy, right?
I know at some point I may not be able to do that anymore, but I still want to have that personal connection with the people that give me the opportunity to do business with me.
How about you just stop doing that now for these idiots that fucking, listen, don't buy a snake if you can't fucking feed it, right?
Sometimes it does come to me like, I'm just going to offer to buy my fucking snake back because they're going to kill my fucking snake.
Exactly. That's really just the way it goes. How many snakes do you have?
Currently, I have 48.
Okay. And how long have you been doing this?
So I started down this rabbit hole. We're on year 3. I got my first FWC license last year, so we can officially say right at 2 years, but 3 years total.
Okay, so 2 years, not a long time, right?
It's not, but it is quite the rabbit hole to go diving down, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Especially, what do you do for a day job?
I am a bank manager at a credit union.
Okay. And are you one of these women that your boyfriend or husband just bought you all your snakes, or are you? Did you?
We've pitched into it equally. He's more of the silent partner, but there's a lot of, if there's a snake that I'm interested in, we bounce it off of each other. And what does this look like fitting into our projects? He's super supportive though in every aspect of it. It's pretty much, he's even the one who is like, book the damn room for Daytona this year because we're going.
Does he help you with everything? Does he help you with cleaning and all that?
I do the day-to-day cleaning for the most part. When we break down the racks and really do like the deep scrubs and stuff like that, he tag teams with me. Okay. But the day-to-day stuff is me. He drives with me to go pick up feeders and do all of that stuff. So.
Okay. And do you have, were you a show person yet or no?
Not yet. I hung out with Steve for a day at a local Repticon just to get the ropes of it, but I don't really have the inventory that justifies the expense yet, if you get what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, Steve recommended you, so that's why we got you here. And let's just quickly talk some sponsors, okay?
Okay.
Reptichip. Do you use Reptichip?
Absolutely.
We're loving you already. Okay? One
and I have a resolution shirt.
That's what I'm saying. Now, you have sea serpents down there. Do you use anything?
I do. I have several sea serpents racks and a sea serpents incubator.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay. You're crushing it.
So far, you're about to give me a big FU though.
Do you just do ball pythons?
Just do ball pythons at this point.
Okay.
Eventually, I hope to venture out into like the green trees. I love green trees; they're fantastic. But I just space-wise right now, and where my focus is ball pythons.
Okay. So obviously you don't have any boas from Kenny at Boa Affliction.
Nope.
Kenny gives you the first FU.
Big old fuck me.
Jesus Christ. All right, let's man, I just don't see you doing good here for the next 3 or 4. Do you have any focus cubed habitats at your house?
Nope, another fuck me.
Even in Ashley, it's just like, fuck Jen. I saw your logo. Doesn't really look like an SD Design logo.
Nope.
Oh,
big old fuck me.
Blake Stewart is the nicest guy in the industry, and he's just giving you a big fuck you. Have you ever bought a snake from Justin?
No, I drool over his snake, but no, not yet. I bought from Ozzy, but not from Justin, not yet. So.
Ozzy's awesome, but Ozzy's not a sponsor.
Yeah. So Justin, for now, is going to give me a fuck you until I buy something from him.
I don't know why you people just don't lie to me. Canova gives you a big fuck you. Have you ever been to a herp show?
I have not. Nope. Not yet, at least. Not yet.
You're really just sucking the will to live right out of me.
Well, if they come on down this way, then I would, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure Herp's going to move their entire circuit over the
Come on down.
to accommodate Jen Cait. Oh, my God. Sean and Lori give you a fuck you. Now, you have to use Morph Market, right?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because John Layman is just about all out of fucks. Okay.
Well, so, he didn't have to give me one, so he can save that for the next guy.
He's not going to give you a fuck you. Good for you. Okay. So now, since you've been doing this for 3 years, so basically you started during COVID?
I did, yeah.
Okay. All right. That's when everybody was really just buying ball pythons out of fucking nowhere, right? So
yeah, and I was one of those people just buying fucking ball pythons.
Oh, all right. Well, so how much money have you put into this versus how much money have you gotten out? Because you've only had 2 or 3 clutches so far, right?
Correct. I've had 2 clutches, which this second clutch, I'm only letting go of 2. I'm keeping the rest back. But in total, I'd say conservatively, probably 25 to 30,000. That I've put into it, and then probably 3,000, 4,000 I've gotten back, and that's only because you see the ARS racks behind me, but I started out with a whole bunch of PVC, which hindsight I would have skipped doing that. So I bought a bunch of stuff for structure and then had to turn around and sell it because I bought ARS. So that made me back a little bit of money. But even this year for my clutches, I plan on holding a lot of stuff back and just growing my own collection and keeping my stuff in the direction I want to take it. So
I was going to say, let me guess, it's a growing year, right?
Well, that and investing more, you know.
Wow.
Good infrastructure and good genes, so.
Well, and what's your big project right now? Like, what's the most expensive snake you have?
Well, I have a het tri-stripe pair. I have a Pos het sunset pair that are growing up. I have some acid that I'm going to work into a clown project this year. Some desert ghost. So
you're all over the board.
I am. I love different recessives. I mean, the end goal is to start stacking those, but I need to grow that out, obviously. But yeah, clown, hypo. I know you don't like hypo, but it's my Achilles heel.
Hypo is just trash. It's the white trash gene.
Well, I'm going to have some white trash hypo clown snakes then. Trash it up, baby.
Are you in Jacksonville?
No, Tampa.
Only Jacksonville people get the hypo because that's the white trash fucking central, right? So fucking that's like whenever we see like a real gnarly chick, we're just like she looks like the 3 a.m. shift at the Jacksonville, Florida Waffle House, and it's always true. Yeah, fuck hypo. And then possible sunsets, huh? I mean, it's just
Yeah. Yep, I had the opportunity to acquire a pair, so I said, fuck it, what's a little gamble?
yeah, no, I hear that,
I mean, as it is, you're gambling anyways, because you don't truly know what you're going to get in each clutch. So,
Well, yeah. I remember when my guys were always like, all right, this clutch could be $30,000 or $400,
yeah.
and we really crushed it at the $400 clutches. We didn't get nothing that we that we wanted to. So, not saying that that's going to happen to you. It just happens to everybody.
It does, and that's a very real possibility. So,
well, what's your 5-year plan?
I'm hoping at the 5-year mark that I'm at least breaking even. Between this year and next year, I'm aiming to basically surpass my clutch total every year with better quality stuff every year. So 5-year point, I'm hoping to break even, if not at least turn it around to be a little profitable for me to reinvest back into the business. So.
Well, do you plan on doing shows, or are you going to keep
I do.
it?
No, I plan on doing shows. That's most likely next year's goal is a more realistic goal to have that. So.
Okay. And have you ever been to the bigger shows yet?
Just Daytona. Last year I went to Daytona for the first time.
Okay.
And then I'll be going obviously this year again.
Yeah, Daytona is fun. I mean, the show sucks, but it's fun hanging out. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely fun hanging out. Now, right now, your big clutch is like acid. Did you get an acid right from Josh? I mean, being that you're right down there.
No, I got an acid from Steve.
Okay.
Steve's a crack dealer.
Are the majority of your snakes Steve's Morphs snakes?
They are. And the running joke with some of the other guys out here is, oh, well, Steve got a hold of you first. But it's just, Steve is a genuinely good guy. He's one of the few guys that when I first started going around and looking at animals, I would go to his table and I would look at a snake and he'd be like, oh, you don't fucking want that. Like that. No, that doesn't fucking fit in anything you've got going on. Like, look at this instead. And it might have been an animal that was for sale for a higher price than what he was actually turning me to, but the one he was turning me to fit better with where I was going.
Right. Yeah. Steve is really one of the nicer.
Absolutely.
I mean, especially in Florida. I mean, there's so many dickheads in Florida, right? Like, I mean.
We can all be a dickhead when we want to be, though. So.
So how could people get in touch with you?
So I have Facebook and Instagram, both under Cigar City Exotics, Morph Market under Cigar City Exotics, or my personal Facebook page, which is under Jen Cait.
Okay, you're not a TikToker or anything like that?
I have a TikTok, but it's more so to monitor my son and make sure he's not up to antics than it is for me to post videos of me dancing around and twerking. So.
Oh God. Okay. So your son is just looking at fucking chicks dancing around and twerking.
He's at that age, 13 and prime and ready to go with life. So.
That is. Oh man, it's your timing is done. We stopped her right before we got uncomfortable talking about your kid jerking off to his fucking.
I mean, listen, that's his business. As long as I don't find any socks, we're A-okay.
When you're gonna know is when he starts doing his own laundry, and you're gonna be like all happy. You're like, look at my kid, he's washing his own sheets and everything.
We're gonna throw the socks away, so we keep doing his laundry for him.
And then you have to keep buying new socks. You're like, what are you doing with these socks? Like, Jesus Christ. All right. Well, Jen, thank you for playing along, and thank you for having fun and spending some time with me. I appreciate it. This is going to be on the Steve's Morphs episode, so Really can't thank you enough. So
Thank you
I
for
will
the
let
opportunity too.
you, okay?
Thank you.
All right, Jen, take it easy.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Snakes in the Batman proudly brings to you its new breeder segment, 15 Minutes of Lame!
All right, I have a couple of questions for anyone trying to run a business in the reptile industry. Do you ever feel like you're held back by a dated or detailed image? Are you sick of competing on price or convincing people to buy your fucking animals? Are you ready for a change but not sure where to start? Stewart Design guides ambitious companies to discover and share their meaningful difference and empowers them to reach their greatest potential. If you've been listening to me for a while, you probably know my man Blake Stewart at Stewart Design. If not, I'm certain you've seen the waves they're making within the industry. They've worked with the biggest and baddest players in the game. Stewart Design rebranded ball python extraordinaire Justin Kabilka over at Canova. They also created the brands for Amos Reptiles, my boy Zach Nava, Garrett Hartle with Reach Out Reptiles, as well as many, many more. Not to mention the rebranding and all the work that Blake has donated to USARK just because of his love for the industry. Stewart Design helps take that dumpster fire shit of a logo you drew in Microsoft Word to a whole new level. Get your big boy pants on because this isn't a game. There are literally thousands of breeders and more coming out every day. So how the fuck will you stand out at Tinley or on Morph Market or at Daytona? Why should anyone buy anything from you when there are literally thousands of other dickheads out there selling the same stuff? If you want to run a real business and not some part-time fucking hobby, you have to stand out and look the goddamn part. If you give a shit about your business and want other people to give a shit about it, get a hold of Blake Stewart over at Stewart Design. Stewart Design is a professional branding agency. Just check out their website to see the list of major national and international awards that they've won. And besides creating kick-ass logos, Stewart Design also designs and prints everything you need to crush your next show, so you don't look like another fucking reject. Business cards, stickers, flyers, table covers, banners, you name it, they got it. Visit sdidentity.com or email info@sdidentity.com to learn more. That's info@sdidentity.com to get started. Stevie Casino is a fucking badass from Brooklyn. He's in Florida now, but he's from Brooklyn. And he's from the old Brooklyn, like when legitimate tough guys came out of Brooklyn. Not these fucking man-bun wearing, gender-neutral fucking jagoffs that are there now. Steve is literally making the ball python thing work for him in a big fucking way, and it shows what a little fucking hard work could do when you really put your mind to it. He actually hit the status of full-time ball python breeder a couple of years ago. Unlike you fucking morons that are still thinking that if you put a lesser together with a pinstripe, you're gonna have a full-time job. Kidding. I kid. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. Here's my one-on-one with Steve Casino of Steve's Morphs. What's up, everybody? I have Stevie Casino here from Steve's Morphs. What's up, brother?
How you doing?
Good, man. How are you doing?
Thanks for having me.
Dude, you are a fucking a Brooklyn guy, huh?
Yes.
That's for how long has it been since you've been in Brooklyn?
Oh God, the 90s. It's been a while.
Cool. And where in Florida are you?
I'm in a town called Brooksville. It's about 45 minutes north of Tampa.
All right. So you're on the west side.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So you got a lot of people down there. Like, I mean, Florida people are fucking crazy, but you got some bigger ball python people there. You got like Ken Masick, you got Dynasty, you got all these other guys.
Him and Mark Bell,
exactly.
Smith, Firehouse. There's a lot of really good breeders out of Florida.
And is there a lot of shit going down with legislation there? Because I keep hearing 20 different things and maybe 5 of them are true.
Well, they're pushing on the licensing now. With the licensing, if they find one thing wrong in your paperwork, they can suspend your license for 3 years.
Oh,
No
shit.
questions asked.
No
And
kidding.
you have 90 days to remove all your animals and sell them and get them out. That's what they're pushing for.
All right. And
It could
that's,
be something on your paperwork that's wrong, or one dirty tub, or anything that to their discretion that they think that they can take away from you.
right. And what is it right now? Is there like inspection once a year? Is there inspection twice a year?
Usually the inspections only come if there's a complaint. I had an inspection about a year and a half ago. It wasn't for a complaint. It was a new officer to my area, and she was going through everybody who held a license in that area. So she wanted to do a visit.
Gotcha.
I talked to a few people that got visits. She got me on my cicada tortoises. She wanted me to have a water bowl. And I said, they're desert tortoises. They don't really drink water. They get their water from food. She still made me get a water bowl for them. And I said, that's fine. And I complied with it, and it was fine. I took pictures of it, sent it to her. They destroyed the water bowl 2 days later and went about their business.
Yeah.
But usually they're pretty good. I mean, I haven't had any issues with any of them, any of the officers at the shows. They come out, check your paperwork. They talk to you for a little bit. And that's usually they move on to the next person.
Right. Okay. All right. And you're part of that Bob Vu clique, right? You do a lot of shows with them guys.
We used to. I still do a lot of Repticons because there's a lot of Repticons in Florida.
Right.
And Bob stopped doing them probably about a year ago. So we really haven't vended a whole lot together since then. We did Arlington, and I think the last big one we did was like really Daytona last year.
Right. And you're still doing the Repticons, huh? Like, why? Well, do they normally put you right next to the aluminum siding guy or the toy guy?
No, not really. I mean, I get a decent spot most of the time. I've been vending them for close to 10 years now. I have a pretty good clientele, and I do a pretty good business out of those shows. So that's why I kind of didn't want to drop them.
Right.
I still have a lot of friends that do them. Some really good breeders still do the Repticons in Florida, but there is a lot of them. There is a ton of Repticon. Well, there's a ton of shows, period. But Repticon, I basically stick to Tampa, Orlando, occasional Jacksonville, and the Lakeland Fire Show. And that's pretty much all I do for Repticon.
Gotcha.
I'll go to Atlanta.
Was that a point of contention between you and Bob?
No, it was his choice that he didn't want to do them anymore. He felt, that he was being treated unfairly. I just kind of go with the flow.
Right.
I didn't have any conflict with any of them. It was just Bob's. I think Bob was gearing more to just doing bigger shows anyway. I don't think he really wanted to do the smaller ones as much. So
Yeah, I think actually, I think the same thing with Bob. I mean, I think Bob's worked his ass off to get to that upper tier, right? Where, it would be like Justin vending a fucking Repticon.
Right.
And you can't do that. You can't be that accessible to the people. So I definitely get that. But how long have you been doing this?
2012.
All right, so you've been doing 10 years. Okay.
I've been doing it for 10 years. I mean, I've been in and out of reptiles my entire life. I mean, I had berms in the early 90s and stuff like that. And I just had a huge collection of just all kinds of stuff of, lizards, iguanas, and all kinds of stuff. I lived in South Florida for a little bit while I went to college out there. And there was a lot more readily available reptiles than any place I've ever been. And there was really cool reptile shops that I used to go to. And I never seen any stores that only sold reptiles. But there was a lot more coming in to South Florida than, back then than there is now.
Right. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And you were able to have anything you wanted. You could have, Nile monitors, Burmese pythons, retics with no issues and no permits. So it was a different world back then. But I when I started having children and got married, I kind of got away from the berms. I had like 6 or 7 berms at one time. So that took up a lot of space.
Oh yeah, I used to do berms, so I know
Yeah.
when I was out in LA.
Yeah,
Now
I love them. They get too big.
I love them too, but yeah, they're
Yeah.
really and back then, like I think I was doing berms in like 2000, 2002.
Hmm.
So they were all just fucking shitheads, and you had to tame
Yep.
them down. And you had to, all imported shit from
Yep.
fucking prehistoric pets and fucking dog shit like that. Where when nobody knew that an animal was unhealthy just by looking at it
Right.
like this today. And there was no YouTube back then. There was no Instagram or really Facebook that you could kind of
Yeah.
say, dude, this doesn't look like the same kind of green as the healthy animal in this picture here. Um, so I totally get that. But what were you doing before this? Like, what's your day gig, and do you still have a day gig?
Kind of still on the books, but that's about it. I've been a firefighter for 16 years with Hernando County Fire Rescue. But I've had a couple of injuries, one back in 2012, and it was actually two injuries back then that put me out. I had to have surgery on my neck. And then in October 2020, my neck has just been deteriorating little by little. The
Right.
job is really rough on your body. And
Oh yeah.
it's a continuous injury with my neck. It's all the vertebrae above and below that were repaired. So everything is just starting to fall apart now. So I've been on workers' comp now since since 2012, but out of the job since 2020 of October.
Okay.
And they put me on workers' comp, and I just started branching into more and more doing it full time on the snakes, because my doctors had told me I probably won't be going back to work. So they told me find another line of work, and I didn't know what else I was going to do.
Right.
All I knew was fighting fire. I mean, I was already breeding snakes for so many years, 8 years already before they told me I wasn't going back. But I didn't know if I would be able to transition into a full-time business where I can make money,
Right.
and depend on it, support my family. But I invested pretty well in the last couple of years, and it's paid off. I don't really receive anything from the fire department anymore, and I'm not looking for anything for them either.
Right.
I'm not looking for a disability or anything like that. I just want a quality of life.
Right. Well, back in 2012, what made you think like the ball python thing would be, a viable second source? Because 2012, I mean, that was still like about the time where like Sean Bradley
Yep.
and Brock Wagner and all the other bigger guys were getting, 25 grand for a fucking banana.
Will Banks and all those guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So what did you buy into back in 2012 that you were like, I could probably do this for a living?
I never really thought of doing it for a living back in 2012. It was just a hobby. I had single gene males and normal females. I just thought it was cool to breed. I had some friends that were doing it, and they kind of showed me their collections and different things. And I was like, wow, this is cool. I start going to some shows, talking to some people. But I didn't think of a business back then. It was just strictly a hobby. It never really struck me as a business for years later. It was just money out of pocket, just throwing it in there. But it wasn't a lot back then.
Right.
I mean, normal females weren't that expensive. Single gene males were, 100, 150 bucks. I had like 12 of them. My first season, I got like 9 clutches. I produced like 60 or 70 babies. I was like, this is awesome. This is really cool. I did a couple, I just started doing some shows with what I had. Nothing spectacular, nothing over the top. I mean, I was making single genes. So, but people were still buying them.
Right.
I remember back then I was probably getting, $175, $100 to $200 for a lesser female baby, which was cool,
Yeah.
And I remember my first show, I made like $750. I was like thrilled. I was over the moon. This is great. $750. And then I bought a banana, which I had to put a lot more money and more snakes into trade just to get that banana. And it didn't breed for like 2 years. But
and how much did you pay for your first banana?
it wasn't ridiculous. I think it was maybe about $1,700. But being that I've only was buying $100 snakes back then, that was a big hit.
Oh yeah. No, I hear you. And considering that these fucking things go for like $50 wholesale now, that just aggravate the fucking piss out of you.
Yeah, I know it.
So when did you start thinking, hey, this could be the other thing that my doctor told me to do? Or like what year was that?
Probably, I want to say about 3 years ago.
Okay.
I started looking more and more into it. I was making money at it. I wasn't, it wasn't coming out of my pocket anymore. It was sustained. Everything was sustained. Everything was coming from the business, basically. And it was a business, but I didn't know if it was going to be profitable to where I can compensate for what I was making at the fire department. It was cool to make that fire department money and make the snake money on the side. It was
Right.
definitely a great side gig to have.
Yeah.
But then you get out, you get to the point where you can't work anymore and you got to figure something else out. And I was already doing the snake. So I said, you know what, let me just push more and more. My wife was kind of like, there's no way you're not doing snakes full time. There's no way you can do this, that. And I just pushed and pushed. And I got to that point where, I can make a pretty decent living doing it now. But I'll be honest with you, I'm not 100% money driven on it. It's not a money thing for me. It's easy to say that now that money is coming in and I can make money and support myself doing it, but it's not my main reason for doing snakes. I mean, I have a passion for these things. I live for them. I mean, with my injury, I don't sleep well at night. I can get up anywhere from 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning daily. That's no matter what time I go to bed. That's when I get up.
Right.
Numbness in my hand, problems that I have with my neck and my back. I just get up. I make a cup of coffee. I go in the snake room and I start my day. I start cleaning snakes. I start looking at them, taking pictures, weighing them, posting them. But that's kind of where I'm at now. And I'm happy doing what I'm doing now.
Well,
Towards the end of my firefighting career, it was getting rougher and rougher to be able to do the job.
I would have fucking imagined. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would think with all firefighters, once you hit 40, like shit just starts falling apart,
Yeah, and we band-aid ourselves and we go right back and do it again. And it's not a good quality of life.
Right. No, I get that.
Unless you can promote really quick and get that, white shirt on and not have to fight the fire anymore, then you're good.
Right. Yeah, then it's not so bad, right?
Right.
Well, and then, so when you were doing this and you decided to kind of pull it into it being your main income, what was it with the projects that you ran into that you were like, all right, this is going to be a money project in the future. I'm going to invest heavy in this for now.
Desert Ghost. Desert Ghost was my biggest one. Yeah. We got into Desert Ghost about 5 or 6 years ago, and I couldn't sell one for crap. Everybody thought it was a glorified fire.
Right?
Yeah, but they were cheap. I mean, I had Desert Ghost females on the table, and I don't think I was able to get $200 for them.
Right.
That same snake today is like $1,250.
Yeah,
so it's changed a lot, but nobody really knew the quality of them. They said it just looked like a glorified fire. I said, but you have to understand what it's going to look like as an adult. It's going to get better. It's going to, this is one of those snakes. It doesn't just look good as a baby. It gets better with age. And people couldn't grasp that back then. And now I have people coming to me years later and saying, you were pushing those things on me and I didn't buy them and I'm the biggest idiot and I could have bought them for $200 all day long.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but you live and learn.
Yeah.
That's definitely a quality animal to get into. It's going to hold its value, I think, for a long time. And just look at the stuff that like Justin's making and Miguel's making. I mean, it's just crazy. They're beautiful animals. Billy, I think he's got the enhancer and Desert Ghost. But I think they're basically about the same.
I think so too.
Yeah, I mean, that's one project that I'm real strong on right now. And I just keep building more and more on that.
Well, it's funny because, you get to watch over the last 5 years or so, you get to watch the switch from codoms being the main thing to the recessors being the main things. And now really the codoms are just I don't want to say an afterthought, but I do want to say like
They're just enhancing the recessives.
right, exactly. They're just enhancing recessives. So things like confusion and or
Those
acid.
are great animals. I love those things.
Those are
They bring a lot to the table.
Yeah.
Especially when you start getting into the recessives now. We're working on making some double heads for clown, confusion, desert ghost stuff, some combos for that. There's I think the codoms, they had their time, you know what I mean, where they were the big things, they were the big hitters, and everybody was into that. And the recessives were just, there wasn't as many out, or there wasn't as many combos out. They were a little bit more out of people's reach, price wise. Now we're getting to that point where everybody can have the recessives and make their own heads and make different things. So it's all coming into play now. Where those codoms were back in the day, now we're just improving and making them better.
Well, I think there's been a whole attitude change too, where people are willing to put in the work now and raise up their recessives and do their double heads and put in the work. Whereas 5-8 years ago, there were still people that were like, "I'm going to put 100,000 in, going to get the best codoms I could get, and I'm going to make 80 of them a piece next year, and I'm going to blow them out." And make my money that way. And people really found out, the hard way that that's not the way it works. You got to put in the time regardless.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at from hatch to breeding for females. You're lucky if you get one to breed at 2 years.
Yeah,
18 months to 24. I mean, you can get it to happen, but it's not going to happen with every one of them. I have some that are in my collection that have probably been in there for 3 years that I'm just getting to size. Some just get, stubborn eaters. They just don't want to get to that size. You don't want to get rid of them because they're really good snakes. But you sit there and you kind of baby them along until you can get them to size to actually breed them to make the quality stuff that you want to make.
Right. Yeah. Well, and more people are actually putting in the money and the work now, not expecting to get anything back for 3 years. Yeah. And that's kind of nice to see. I mean, there's still all those. I mean, a lot of white trash cunts are out there thinking that they could just put, $1,000 into it and make $100,000 next year. And I love seeing those people fail. But there is a question that you got to ask yourself: is like how many ball pythons fucking die in America every year because they're just worthless ball pythons?
We say that about at the shows. I mean, some of the snakes that we sell to some of these people, we're like, you think this snake's going to be alive in a week?
Right.
Are they going to take care of it, the proper care of it? You don't want to not sell a snake to somebody because you think they might not take care of it. But it's crossed my mind a couple of times.
Well, and what's your sweet spot as far as price wise for snakes? Are you more paycheck snakes or are you more high end?
I'm kind of all over the board. I mean, the paycheck snakes are basically my byproduct. It's not stuff that I'm shooting for. That's your, you can hit the $300 to $500 to $800 snakes. Those are easy to make all day long, because that's just a byproduct of stuff that you're doing. And then, I've got other projects where like Desert Ghost Clowns, where those could be $12,000 to $15,000 for certain ones. And you can sell every one of them if you can make them. There's a demand for that kind of stuff right now. And you'd be surprised. I mean, some of these people that are just starting out, they're investing that $10,000, $15,000 per snake.
Oh yeah.
I see people that are, these are nobody's just coming into the game and they're buying snakes, and they'll have they'll go to Tinley and they'll buy 6 or 7 snakes, and one of them is a Desert Ghost Clown. These are guys that are just starting out, and I'm like, wow.
I think I missed a meeting. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I missed a meeting because fucking these 25-year-old kids with $20,000 in the bank. I don't know where the fuck they're coming from. I wasn't around when we did it because when we were down, back in 2011, 2012. I mean, $20,000 was a big, sum of money.
I still think it is now.
Yeah,
to drop $20,000 on a snake, I haven't done that yet. But I think these people think if they spend the money on quality stuff, then eventually it's going to pay off, and it probably will for them. If you're breeding a $10,000 or $15,000 snake to a $10,000 or $15,000 snake, I'm not saying you're going to make all $30,000 snakes, but you'll probably get your return back.
Oh yeah. Well, and I think people are smart enough to know, like, if I spent 3 years raising up an animal, it costs me the same amount of money if it's $100 snake or if it's a $10,000 snake. Exactly. So why not go after the $10,000 snake?
Yeah. Miguel was on a podcast a couple of years ago, and he talked about that, how people would go out and buy 30 snakes at $100,
right,
or buy 3 snakes at $1,000 a piece. He says you can take your $100 snakes and make more $100 snakes or less, or you can take your $3,000 and spend that on 3 quality snakes and make maybe $1,000 or $2,000 snakes.
Right.
Now you only have to feed 3 snakes as opposed to 30.
Right. Well, and you also, I mean, what a minimum clutch size is going to be 6 eggs, right? So fucking,
right.
You may sell $1,000 snakes, but you'll be selling 6 of them at a time, and you probably got 18 of them, right? So you hold back 3, you sell 15. That's 15 grand off a $3,000 investment. So I think that people are being smarter about that now. Again, not everybody, but the less white trash people are.
I try to kind of mentor people when they're interested in buying something. I got some friends that I'm mentoring right now that I basically, if they have a question of something, should I buy this? They kind of take what I say and kind of think about it for a little bit, and they take it from my experience. One of them is a friend of mine, Molly. She's in Georgia, and the first time I met her, she told me she bought a scaleless head, and she had just came up to my table and she had just bought the scaleless head thing, and I said, why the hell did you buy that? That's a stupid snake to buy. And she was just like, oh, but a couple of years later, we actually became pretty good friends. And she looks at me now and she says, Steve, you were right about that scaleless head. But she said, you really offended me that day. And I said, I wasn't trying to offend you, but I was just being, sometimes I just blurt shit out when I'm not supposed to. That day. But me and Molly talk all the time now, and we're really cool. And if she has a question on something, she'll call me and we'll talk about it. I'd rather see her ask me what my opinion was on it before she goes out and buys it and makes a mistake on something.
Right. Please excuse this brief interruption for a word from one of our sponsors. How fucking thrilled am I to have Focus Cubed Habitats joining the Snakes and the Fat Man family. They are literally the best display cages that I've ever owned. I was a fan of this husband and wife team of builders from when they were putting out these amazing pieces of fucking art from their garage. Stephen and Ashley have been keeping reptiles for years, and as experienced keepers, they understand how important your animals are in your life. Focus Cubed Habitats provide security and comfort for your animals while maintaining these insane, badass designs that everyone can appreciate. They give you the opportunity to make their home part of your home. You want options? They've got options. Every Focus Cubed habitat is custom made to your specs, and you could choose from hundreds of options on their website. Too many options? Ashley and Steven have a huge selection of blog-style articles and complete accessory fact pages on their website to help educate consumers about add-ons that will best fit their individual needs. Listen, at the end of the day, these fucking cages are showpieces. Every cage that Focus builds will be the centerpiece of your reptile room. Hell, they could be the centerpiece of your fucking living room. If you have reptiles that you want to display, look no further than Focus Cubed Habitats. You can follow them on Instagram, Facebook, and even fucking TikTok. Or just go old school and go right to FocusCubedHabitats.com and tell them that the Fat Man told you to drop them a line. Well, that's that's kind of leads into a more serious question, like what's your opinion on just like a shitty project to buy into right now? Because there is 25 great projects to buy into, and there's probably 50 shit projects to buy into. And what would be your suggestion for people that are coming into this whole thing?
I'm not a big fan of bananas.
Mm.
That was my first major purchase, but I'm just not a fan of them. A lot of them just don't age well.
Mhm.
I breed a few of them here and there, but I'm just not a fan of them. That's my thing. Other people are making beautiful stuff with them, and I can appreciate them. But if somebody's coming to my table and they're like, "Oh, I just bought a banana spider," I'm like, "Oh God, you just wasted your money."
You got
You
the
know,
double whammy. Yeah.
double whammy, exactly. So that's kind of stuff I kind of stay away from, or I don't really push on. But I don't think there's really a bad gene out there. There's always something out there that's going to make it better. Um,
Mm.
like take pastel. Nobody likes pastels. Pastel.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
it's a girl.
Everybody hates pastel now. Everybody loved him back in 2012.
Right. But
Yeah.
now you put it in Desert Ghost.
Right.
Everybody loves it. It's
Everybody's
great
a
again.
fan. Yeah.
You put it in like pastel clowns.
Mm.
You can't get rid of the damn things. You put Desert Ghost on top of it, you sell them all day long.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah, the way it goes.
if you have an enhancer that's going to make it better, go for it. You know what I mean? I don't think there's a bad purchase. I would probably stay away from like single gene males. Those are for the pet trade, things like that.
Right.
Even if you have single gene females in your collection, there's always something you can put on it to make something cool with it, or make some really good heads.
Right.
Just going back to the pastel, take that pastel, throw a confusion on it. You'll make nice snakes.
Yeah.
You could always make something with a good female, not always with a good male. With a crap.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So some of the males that people are buying are, I saw something on Facebook yesterday where some fucking chick that obviously knows nothing, right, and she was like, why am I having so much trouble selling my five $300 snakes for what I paid for them? And it was five fucking shitty males that she wanted, some stupid amount for, like even if she wanted $300 a piece, that people are gonna lowball the fuck out of you.
Oh yeah.
I mean, nobody wants your fucking shitty males. So, and that's not. I didn't mean to make it sound like that was a female thing, because fucking, it's not just a female thing. It's generally a white trash thing. That's more of what I meant. But yeah, it's so fucking stupid now, and it's so the low end people have really stayed low end, I think, in the hobby, and not many of them kind of built up.
No, there's some people that are never going to invest. They're always going to keep the same stuff that they're doing. I saw a post last week about somebody was at a show, and he said he had a pretty decent show, and somebody came up to him and said, I had a really crappy show and this and that. And I guess in the same sentence, he told that guy that he never invested more than $500 into a snake. Mm-hmm. So he went over and browsed at his table, and it was a bunch of crap. I mean, it was stuff from, that you would have seen 4 or 5 years ago that wouldn't even been impressive back then.
Right.
And he can see why he had a bad show and why he wasn't selling snakes. You can't keep breeding the same stuff that you did 7, 8 years ago today and expect to sell them. Unless you're going to wholesale them out as pet trade kind of thing and sell them to the pet shops or whatever, that's fine. But if you want to be a contender with ball pythons, you're going to have to invest some money. Not ridiculous. You don't have to buy all $10,000 and $20,000 snakes. Just invest something. Buy into something that's new, something that's different. Enhance your stuff that you're doing. Don't just keep the same. I'm going to breed pastel yellow belly to a Mojave this year, and you did that 3 years before. Well, nobody wants to see that anymore.
Oh yeah, I'm glad.
That's a byproduct. That's not something I'm shooting for. That's something. Just God, I hope I don't hit that.
I laugh whenever I see like a Pastavi for sale. Well, like whenever I see like a baby Pastavi, I'm just like, why did you even do that?
Yeah.
That you may as well, that animal is head for freezer, and you may as well dump it in the freezer now.
I'm sure a lot of people do that. I mean, with their normals and stuff, I've heard of it in the past. Sell them off as Cobra food or whatever. I can't do that. I can't freeze an animal that's totally viable and feeding and everything. I can't freeze an animal or euthanize an animal just because I don't want to feed it anymore.
Right.
I'll give it away to somebody as a pet. I used to bring snakes to shows back in the day. If somebody gave me like a normal, or I had like a pastel and it was just a male and nothing, I would talk to people and somebody would be like, a teacher, and they're actually, they're looking for a snake for their class. And I'm like, can I donate a snake to you?
Right.
It'll probably get the best care in the world. Everybody will want to take care of it and feed it and hold it and all that stuff. It'll probably be a great pet for their classroom. So I actually got enjoyment out of just giving it to them for free, not even selling it to them. Because
we used to give a lot to autistic schools, like when we had some byproduct stuff, and we would just have like a pastel possible head or whatever from mail, and we would just give it to these autistic schools upstate. And motherfucker, I mean, if these goddamn snakes weren't treated like royalty up there, these $30 snakes were fucking treated better than. I've seen people treat, $1,000 snakes. So, and the thing is that actually puts it in the head of the young people, like, oh, this is kind of cool. Why can't I have this at home? And then, the kid that has that may, be a future customer or at least, in the business. I
had a customer that had an autistic son, and he had a bunch of other issues with him also, but he actually enjoyed taking care of snakes, and he had like 3 of them. He bought like 2 from me, and it helped him. It was like therapy for him.
Right.
Just handling them, taking care of them. It gave him a purpose and something to do. And I thought that was great.
Yeah. No, I agree. And people may not believe that when they hear me saying it, that, Fat Man was doing something nice, but fucking, it's like, I hate cunts, but I like kids, so kids are okay. Are you big on social media? Do you follow it a lot?
I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. That's about as far as I go. I mean, I have my Facebook. I have like the 5,000 friends like everybody else does. Instagram, I just can't seem to get off the ground. I'm like staggering in between 2,500 and 2,700 people that follow me.
I don't even have that. Yeah, that's true. I use Instagram wrong, like so wrong. Well, like my 18-year-old niece will look at me and she's like, "You're not even using Instagram." And I'm like, "What do you mean I'm not using it? I'm posting."
You're not using the algorithm, they'll tell you.
Yeah, it's just like you're not.
There's a certain time to post and this and that, and you can buy followers. I heard.
Yeah.
MJ was telling me about that, and I was like, "Buy followers? Why would I want to buy followers? I don't want." He says they're like fake people. It's just a name of somebody following you. I said, I don't want that. I want real people to follow me.
That's ridiculous. I mean, you used to be able to do that with Facebook, so, but now they've kind of, kind of hacked down on it a little bit. But have you seen all these things like there's this douchebag over in England that is just renaming existing genes?
The bolts and all this other stuff. Was it the spider? He's calling a bolt now or something like that?
Yeah, and then you got an Enchi. He's calling a Terminator. What do you think about just shit like that?
I don't know. I mean, that's beating a dead horse with something like that. Trying to tell people you got a new spider, and it doesn't have a wobble. There's a lot of spiders out there that don't have a wobble.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you found one without a wobble and you think you're renaming it as something new. It's not something new. Things get renamed all the time. And if there is a difference, I mean, when you look at, let's take static, confusion, and acid.
Right.
They're all basically the same thing. I don't think there's anything different. It might be a different bloodline. They might have found it in a different area, whatever it was, but it's all the same snake.
Right.
There's no super for it. It's all just a dominant gene. So to rename something that's already been out for 20 or 30 years is kind of ridiculous. Something that's new, if it came in from the wild or something like that, I can see it. And until you can prove that it's something else, like say somebody came out with the acid and somebody, that's just like the confusion. Okay. Well, they're both dominant, so you can't really prove it by making a super or anything like that. But they make all the same combos. Right. It's whoever named it, whoever got it. Josh got his, and Jay Royals. So he named his the acid. I remember when he first got that, when he was talking about that project, he was vending at Tampa Repticon. And he was talking about this new gene that he had and all this stuff. And he had one table and he was real quiet and he was down by the bathrooms against the wall. And about a year or 2 later is when he came out with the acid, and it just blew me away. I thought it was amazing. I mean, it's just something different and new. Like the Monsoon. Monsoon came out. I was like, holy shit, look at that thing. That's crazy looking.
Well, when he introduced the acid, I went to Daytona specifically to see him.
Oh, okay.
That motherfucker got fucking toasted. Fucking basically didn't show up until like 3 o'clock. And he just had empty display case. I was like, this motherfucker, man.
That's Josh. I love that guy though, man. He's a lot of fun.
No, he is a lot of fun, and since then, obviously, I've hung out with him at Tinley. I definitely like the guy. He is a lot of fun. But did this cunt over in England naming the new jeans? I mean, this guy is like, I don't like him. I'm not even going to name his name. His name rhymes with schmills. Okay, he is a cocksucking little fuck that rips people off all the time, and I can't wait to see him get his ass kicked when he finally shows his face at these shows, because he's ripped off so many of my friends in England. So this guy is a real fucking jagoff. But and if you're gonna rename it, right? Like fucking, you couldn't pick cooler names than the Bolt and the Terminator. It's like,
I would have rather seen him get a normal and, just a fancy normal and call it the Bolt over than a Spider.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's so fucking bad. And these names these days, I mean, are just getting ridiculous all around. Like fucking Wookiee and Jedi. And look, I'll tell you this. Wookiee is cool. I like it.
I got Wookiees.
It's such a lame fucking name. It's like, you fucking jack off. Like, you don't even put any thought into the name.
I remember when that first came out. I was at Daytona, and this girl came over. She had a paper flyer, and she said,
right?
Yeah, and she was asking me, "Do I want to invest in this new Wookiee gene?" And I was like, "Well, how much is it?" And she was, this is going back, 8 years ago. And it was like $4,500. I'm like, I ain't got $4,500 for a snake. Are you crazy? That's a lot of money. And I thought nothing of it. And then it was so many years later, then the Wookiee name came out, and I was like, "Is that the same snake?" I was like, "It's actually kind of cool."
Yeah.
And now I own it.
It is cool, but I remember telling her, I was like, "That's a stupid name." Like fucking this. I'm like, come on, man. It's like fucking just put a little thought into it. I don't look at that snake and go, Chewbacca. You know, like I just don't. So it's fucking bullshit. And there's so many dumb names out there.
There's names out there that people won't invest into it because of the name.
Yeah, 100%, without a doubt. And I love that. If you're dumb enough to name it fucking something stupid, you deserve not to sell it. Fuck you. But, like acid, when Josh first named, I was like, fuck, that's like a cool fucking name, Strange. Like, that's
acid
cool
reflux and all these other things he was coming out with. They were just super cool. He's got a new gene he's working on now.
What's that?
He has a new one he's working on now.
I know. He's a maniac, man. And I'm glad that guy has had whatever success he had, because he's, he definitely, he may not look like he works hard, but that motherfucker works hard. Now you're back doing shows.
Yep.
After the COVID break, right?
Yep.
How many shows are you doing this year? I mean, it's like you're always at a fucking show, man.
Yeah, we're doing a lot. We'll do, the Repticons. We'll do Tampa. We'll do Orlando. Probably 2 to 3 times a year each one. I'll do Atlanta maybe twice a year. I'll do both Tinleys, both Texas, Arlington shows. We're looking into, the Reptile Nation, Reptilian Nation. We got one in Atlanta we're going to do in September. I was kind of curious about some of the herp shows. I kind of want to visit a couple of those to see how they are. I heard some of them were pretty good, like the Slidell show. And
you go to a herp show. it's run like no other show that I've
Yeah.
ever been to. You know, like
You
it
do
is
some
so,
Show Me Snake shows too.
yeah. It's a Show Me has been doing okay. But
Mickey,
Herbert
yeah.
is fucking a fun show to go to. If you're gonna go to any, go to like Conroe, go
Yeah,
to
that's what I
Cardell,
hear.
or, go to the big ones because it's so much fun at those shows.
Yeah, we love going to Texas. Texas is a lot of fun out there.
Yeah. How long
And
is
my
the
son is
drive?
stationed out there too. My son's in the military. He's in the Army. And
Oh,
he's
all right.
stationed about 2 hours from there. So when we go there, we get to see him for a couple of days. Which is
Gotcha.
nice.
How far is Texas from you?
17 hours.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
that's a distance. Right?
Yeah. But Tinley's the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Tinley's
Tinley,
just
I mean, when we did our Tinleys, we used to just ship the snakes in and fly there.
There's a few people who do that. I'm kind of
Yeah.
scared.
Dude, I am.
I like to be with my animals the whole time. I'm not really comfortable with shipping them. I've seen some people ship snakes and they didn't get them until Sunday afternoon.
Right.
That ruins the whole
no.
set.
Yeah, I get it, but fucking, I don't drive an hour to a show now. I'm like, oh, fuck that. Like,
We drive all over the place. I bought like a Ford Transit passenger van. I took the seats out, we loaded up, and we go.
Man, I would do that when I was like 26. When we were 26 and we were traveling with the band and all this,
Yeah.
that's cool. But I hit
Yeah.
40 and fucking Tinley's like 14 hours from here. I'm like,
I
there's
know.
no way.
I'm
Like,
52 and I'm still doing it.
No way. We would bitch about a 5-hour New Hampshire show. Well, like we could fly there in half an hour. Why are we doing this? You know? And up here, we only have 1-day shows. Down by you, at least it's 2-day
They're
shows.
2 days, yeah.
Yeah.
And Tinley and Arlington, they're basically like 3-day shows. Because
Right.
your setup day, you're still selling snakes on a Friday.
Right.
And you get a lot of business afterwards also.
Yeah.
Not everybody has the money to buy a snake that they wanted at the show, and they'll call you like the week later. Hey, do you still got that snake? I'd really like to get it, and ship it out to them.
Yeah, Tinley is a lot of work though, man. It's like fucking these dudes have to be on at Tinley. Like fucking I see these dudes drinking for 3 and 4 days straight in the lobby at the fucking hotel.
No,
Like,
I can't do that anymore.
that's fucking I want to be in bed by 10.
Yeah.
Like I'm the loser now. I just go straight upstairs and leave.
I stay up as late as I can. I'll hang out with Chad Hooker and David Livingston, and we'll just, they'll stay up way past me. And I'm like, my wife will already be in bed. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to hang out for a little bit. And I might hit 11, 12 o'clock.
Right.
But I can't really tie one on like I did back when I was younger.
Chad
I'll go for 2 days.
Yeah, Chad is a fucking machine, man. That dude,
that's awesome.
He's such a great guy. He was probably one of my first real friends. I haven't talked to him in a while, but fucking, he was definitely. I mean, we'd hang out at Daytona. We'd fucking hang out at all these other shows here, and he's definitely a good guy.
We talk a lot. We share memes back and forth all day long. David too. David's another one that I share a lot of memes with back and forth.
David's a nutcase. I met David at a Hamburg show, and I remember it exactly because there was a dead cat in front of the entrance, and all day they just left that dead cat there, right? And fucking. You had to walk past, and by like noon it was stinking, and it was fucking like puffing up a little bit. You walk out there at 3, that dead cat is still there. I'm like, you're not gonna move that, all right? And me and Dave started fucking talking there, and that was the first time I met Levinson, and he was just fucking funny as fuck. And then
I could listen to him talk for hours. He's such an interesting character. I mean, he's just so fun to talk to and be around.
Yeah,
you could just sit there, and it's not like you're, just going along with what he says by like, You're actually interested in what he's saying.
Yeah,
he's got so many stories of different things, and just a lot of fun to hang out with, for sure.
Oh yeah. He's one of the better.
We were in Arlington, and he's like, oh, we got to do a shot. I was like, a shot of what? He says it's called urinal cake, and I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, we got to drink it in the bathroom. So there was pictures of us all stacked in the bathroom, girls, guys, everybody doing shots of urinal cake in the bathroom. It tasted like what you would think a urinal cake would taste like.
Yeah. Basically, it's the aftermath of blowing a guy in a public bathroom. All right. Well, which is not fun. Okay, I gotta tell you. So now, let's just talk some money. Give some hope to the people that are investing money now. Since you started doing this seriously 3 years ago, let's say.
Yeah.
How much have you put in versus how much have you got now?
I'm getting a lot more out of it now than I ever put into it. Last year I did buy a big collection. I had a partner, kind of a silent partner. I bought him out, which was a big chunk. It cost me quite a bit of money to buy that out, but it was totally worth it. And last season we had a really big season. We had about 190 clutches, so it was more than I've ever done before prior. We took on about another additional, 300, 350 snakes by buying his collection out. But definitely, I see the market growing every day. I see if people invest into the right stuff and actually produce some quality and not just go and buy. You see two snakes on the table and one is cheaper, but it doesn't look as good as the more expensive one. Spend the extra dollars. Right. Buy the better snake. Produce, shit in, shit out. You know what I mean? Quality in, quality out. That's a big thing with me. I don't like to buy a shitty looking snake because I don't want to make shittier snakes. I want to make better looking snakes. But if you invest, in the last 3 years, I probably, I don't want to say an exact dollar amount of what I invested in between, that collection and everything, but it's over probably $100K. We'll say that I've invested, and I've seen that come back to me multiple times.
Okay.
So I've seen the profit. It's definitely. I'm definitely living better now than I did when I was just fighting fire. If you want to say,
Well, I'm glad you said that because I was gonna fucking rail into you about being a pussy and not talking money, but fucking, you actually did. So fucking, I'm glad.
And I didn't make a bad living fighting fire, but after the taxes and everything are out, you do a couple of shows and you're like, wow, I made what I made all year. Right, the money is there. But you'll see people at these shows and they'll say they had a crappy show. Well, did you bring crappy snakes or did you bring good ones? Did you bring stuff that people want? I usually have a pretty decent variety on my table because I do, clowns, pieds, hypos, ultramel, lavender, candy. I mean, I've got a bunch of everything. So it's a really nice variety to go look through my table. If I have 3 or 4 tables out there, it's kind of like a rainbow going from one side to the other. It's all colors and patterns. So just because I have something on this side of the table doesn't mean, and you didn't like it, there might be something on the other side of the table. It takes a long time to look through all my stuff it's not all just Desert Ghost. Right. It's not all just pies. It's not all just clowns. I mean, when you walk to somebody's table and it's bananas, banana pies, candies, candy pies, kind of stuff and pies. It all looks the same to the lame person. They just don't know the difference between those. If somebody's looking for a pet, that's a really expensive one compared to this one. What's the difference? I don't get it. What's the difference between a candy and a banana? $3,000. I don't know. But for the most part, I mean, have a good variety on your table of different things. I mean, nobody's producing just one kind of snake. Everybody's got a variety of things that they're doing.
Well, I mean, some people are specializing a little bit more these days.
Definitely.
But definitely not. They're not just doing one thing.
No.
They're not doing just clowns. They're doing.
Justin's kind of cornered the market on clowns. Everything he makes is just better than the last thing he made. He came out with a Desert Ghost Exantic clown. Everybody lost their mind. It was like, oh my God, how the hell did that? Nobody even knew he had heads for it. You know what I mean? And then he throws that out there. How many eggs did he go through to get it? Nobody knows. But
I don't know. That's just insane right there.
But you know what? He still made one.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to be wowing over that snake for 5 years.
Yep. Well, you brought up a good point that I want to talk about. You increased your collection by 350 snakes when you bought your partner out, right? How many fucking snakes do you have now?
Breeders or everything?
Everything.
1,000?
1,000. That's fucking crazy, man.
It is.
And is it in your house or is it in a separate building?
I converted a 3-car garage into my adults. I have one main room for my adults, and then I have an overflow with males and other females, and my sink's in there, and I do all my scrubbing and cleaning my tubs inside there. And then I have a separate room on the other side of the house. I try to keep all my baby stuff and my show stuff somewhere else. I don't want to put it in with my adults. Just if I pick up a mite from a show or something, I pick up something from there. I don't want it going through my whole collection. So I have a room on the other side of the house. It used to be a game room before my son went off into the military. And we basically took everything out of there, and it's just all baby racks in there. So I keep all my babies and show stuff inside there. I have another room. Well, my son's old room is I have supplies in that one, all my shipping boxes and things like that. And then every time a kid moves out, I got 3 kids. So every time a kid moves out, I get another room, it seems like. My wife's using one as kind of like a pantry, and the other half is all my incubators. So I have like 4 sea serpent incubators inside there where I incubate all my stuff. Some supplies in there also, but I've taken over pretty much the 3-car garage and 3 rooms in the house.
Jeez. And do you have help doing this or no?
It's solely just me.
That's incredible. That one dude is doing it.
My daughter is going to be coming to work for me full time. She recently put her notice into work, so she will be coming with me. She used to do shows with me all the time. And then my wife started doing the shows. Now my wife is like my partner on all the shows.
Well, I was going to say, your wife really wasn't into you doing this when you first started it, right?
She's actually never been against it. I mean, she was with me when I had my berms and everything. She was just a little uneasy on how big they were getting. You know, when they start reaching, 16, 17 feet and you got small children, you probably don't want them around those kind of snakes. But she's been really supportive the whole time I've been into snakes. She's never told me no, or if I spent money on a snake years ago, she'd be like, "How much you spent on that? What'd you get?" She would question everything. And now I say I buy a snake, and I'd say I bought something that was $3,000. What'd you pay for that? $3,000. Okay. It just rolls over now. So she's on board with everything. She's my partner in crime. We do all the shows together. If you see me, you'll see her also.
Okay.
We're always together.
Does she still do a day job or no?
Yeah, she's a chemist. She works in the water management district, and she's a chemist over there. So, but she takes the time off to do the shows with me. She'll work remotely from home or on the road with a hotspot and work on her computer and do stuff that she does on Friday. Sometimes we leave on Thursday. If we go to like Arlington or Tinley, we'll leave on a Thursday. We'll leave like 4 a.m, and we'll get there like 7, 8 o'clock at night. Meet up with a bunch of guys, grab something to eat, have a drink or two, go to bed. Next day we set up for the show, fresh, ready to go. Some people show up, they drive all night, show up the day of, for setup, and then they go out and party all night. And I'm like, I don't know how you guys are doing that.
Yeah.
I had a good night's sleep, and I'm not doing that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, fucking cool. Steve, how can people get in touch with you?
I'm on Instagram, Steve's Morphs on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I actually have 2 Facebook pages. One is Steve Morphs, which I usually do the most. And then I have a business page for Steve's Morphs. And if you do stevesmorphs.com, it'll show up to a page. What is it? A link tree. And it's got everything on there.
Okay.
I put some past videos and stuff I was on.
You have a TikTok or no?
No, I haven't got into that yet. I'm not big on the videos just yet. I don't really want to be in front of the camera. I'm still trying to figure out how to do a reel.
Yeah, you and me both. All right. I have no idea how to do one. I don't even know how to do
old. I don't know.
Dude, I don't know how to do a story. Somebody has to do a story about me, and I put it on my story. Okay. That's the only way I fucking know how.
My daughter, with her coming on, she may be able to help me do some of that stuff because I'm not really sure on how to do it.
How old's your daughter?
She's 27.
Oh, she's going to know. Yeah, she's going to know all this shit.
I have 27, 20, and 12.
Oh, probably the 12-year-old is the one you go to learn how to do TikTok, right?
Not yet. I don't think he's into it yet. We just bought him a phone like 2 weeks ago. He's had a tablet with data on it forever, and he was kind of like, he told me like 2 weeks ago. He's like, "Dad, can I get a phone?" I'm like, "I asked you if you wanted a phone like a year ago." He's like, "Well, all my friends at school have a phone, and I don't have one." And I'm like, "I'll buy you a phone. I don't care if you want a phone. I want to be able to get a hold of you if something happens, or you want to call me. I don't want you to have a tablet out to call me every time on Messenger."
You gotta just be wearing them fucking buying shit on like Minecraft and shit like that.
He does do some work for me, and I do pay him in Google Pay. He's got something he wants on there, so he tells me, "Hey, what do I gotta do for $10?" And I'm like, let's see, I need these water bowls filled, I need this done, and he'll get in there and do it. No questions asked. I mean, he won't argue with me about it. He's like, "Okay, I want $10. That's what I got to do for $10. I'll do it."
Right. Yeah. See, that's awesome. That slave labor at the house like that.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
But he's a good kid. I mean, he does a lot of shows with us also too. He doesn't really come out to Tinley because he can only miss so many Fridays in school that we take off for shows. So and it seems like there's always like 3 or 4 shows in a row, and then if we go to Tinley, he's going to miss Thursday, Friday, and Monday.
Right.
Which is too much. A little bit too much.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's a little bit more of an adult crowd too.
Yeah, you think? Yeah, a little bit. Right.
Yeah. The auction itself.
Yeah, Jesus, Potter gets out of control sometimes. Right? Like,
he's funny as shit though. He's a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I get it. All right, brother. Well, thank you so much for fucking taking the time, man. I'm glad, and thank you for going to your daughters to because you had shit internet, so I appreciate that.
My neighbor the other day got internet finally in our area, and my wife called up and they said, "Oh, it'll probably be about 3 weeks before we can get back to you." I was like, "They got it yesterday. Why do I got to wait 3 weeks? I'm right next door."
Yeah, why can't I just tap off them?
Right.
Jeez.
Well, it's because they're like 20 acres away from me.
Oh, well, yeah, that'll do it. Yeah. Dude, thank you so much, Steve. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me.
Have a good one, man.
All right. Thank you.
Here at Snakes and a Fat Man, we're huge supporters of diversity. We're proving that point here by having our first ever boa breeder as a sponsor on the show. Boa Affliction has been around since 2010, and when they saw the VPI T-positive gene, they immediately shifted their focus and decided to make not just visually stunning albino boas, but they quickly realized that the T-positive snows and sunglows really stood apart from the T-negative albinos that were available at the time. This original VPI gene has maintained its place in the market for the last 10 years and shows no sign of slowing down. Here's the thing. When you invest into your 401k, a 401k for all you ball python people is a fund that you invest in for your retirement. But when you invest in a 401k, you just don't invest in Walmart. You invest in Amazon, Verizon, Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. That's all we're trying to say here. 100% of your collection doesn't have to be ball pythons. Throw a few boas in there and be part of a different type of cool crowd. And when you do that, invest with Kenny over at Boa Affliction. Great, no bullshit guy with an awesome website. And how in the fuck am I gonna say no to a guy who uses this chick in his promo picture? Can't do it. Can't do it. I tried everything. Go check out Kenny today at boaffliction.com. Sticking with my supporting of diversity, I actually hired a millennial to handle all my social media, but I had to fire him because he didn't show up for work. So I'm just going to leave this picture up here for a little while longer. Man, fucking Steve is just fucking awesome, huh? I really hope I get to meet him in person. I'm hoping to get down to Daytona this year. And I know I talk shit about Daytona all the time, but I'm probably going to fly down to Daytona and not go to the show and just hang out at the hotel and hang out with all my friends. Just make it an honest to God hangout weekend. Maybe I'll go to the show. I don't know. We'll see. We drop podcasts on the 1st and the 15th of every month, and we do open Zoom calls for reptile keepers every 2 weeks, and those are free. Free. Okay? Just saying. A lot of other people make you have to be part of their Patreon just to do a fucking Zoom call. Not us, man. We're all about the fun here, okay? Fucking come down to the fucking open Zoom call and just fucking start your week with fucking some laughter. The next one is actually on June 5th, I think, at 8 p.m. Yeah, June 5th. Next open Zoom call for Reptile Keepers. Listen, you want to support the channel? You want to see some cool behind-the-scenes stuff? Then join the fucking Patreon family like this list of people that are scrolling to, I'm pretty sure, this side of the screen. These people fucking rock my world. You could be one of them that rock my world. And join us at patreon.com/snakesandthefatman. And for $5 a month, fucking you could see your name on this list. I mean, I don't know what it does, but I'm pretty sure it's kind of a fun group. You get dumb pictures, you know, that I don't post anywhere else. You get discounts on stuff. I don't know. It shows support of the fucking channel. Anywhere from $5 to $20 a month. You guys fucking rock, and you should theoretically check out all these guys' shits and fucking friend them on Instagram and Facebook. These are the coolest people on the fucking planet. I may not have as many as the other big podcasters, but the people that I do have are fucking incredible. And look at these people right here. Well, they might be gone right now, but you could scroll back and you could see and check out all the people right here. They are some of the best looking, most attractive people in the hobby, okay? Literally, I have no uglies on my Patreon. So if you're hideous, keep your money. If you're a 5 or above, come join the Cool Guy Club, man. That's all I'm saying. Patreon.com/snakesandthefatman for as low as $5 a month. Again, squirrel, nut, you get it. All right, guys, I'll see you in 2 weeks. But if you can, stop by the open Zoom call for Reptile Keepers, or you know, follow me on one of my dumb socials. Message me, say hello. I'm a lonely guy. See you in 2 weeks. Everyone talks their own shit about what kind of racks you should buy. Metal racks are great, but everyone doesn't want a goddamn 7-foot high, 6-foot wide, 2,000-pound metal rack in their fucking house. That's a 2-refrigerator footprint, man. 2 fucking refrigerators. Sea Serpents makes insane quality racks that could fit anywhere. They're stackable PVC racks that are living room friendly, and they're shipped fully assembled with heat tape already installed. Just plug it into a thermostat and you're ready to go. When we had the shop, we had over 20 Sea Serpent racks there before they ever became a sponsor of Snakes and the Fat Man. I don't breed much anymore these days, but I still have a few racks here in my house, and you could be goddamn sure that they're Sea Serpents. Oh, and they also make hotbox incubators, probably the best reptile incubators made in America. At the height of our breeding business, we had 4 4-foot hotbox incubators, and again, I still have a small hotbox incubator here in case anything I keep actually does breed. Go to SeaSerpents.com and check out their incredible selection of PVC racks, and tell Chris Nettles that the Fat Man sent you.